Martha has more.
So let's bring in senior judicial analyst Judge Andrew Napolitano, who has just had a chance to go through some of the initial information that we're getting here. How big a deal is it?
I think it's huge. I think it goes to the heart. It disputes the heart of Mrs. Clinton's defense. The heart of her defense was that she complied with all State Department regulations and that what the FBI has been doing is just a security review. We now know from Director Comey's own words the FBI doesn't do security reviews. We now know that this was the security review. The security review is a review of how the State Department keeps safe the secrets entrusted to it. And Mrs. Clinton flunked that review according to this State Department report that came out this morning. What did she do wrong? She knowingly and willfully violated her own State Department requirements that she put in place for all other employees with respect to retaining records and making those records transparent. By the time she was Secretary of State, the rules were far more specific than they had been under former Secretaries Colin Powell and Condoleezza Rice, simply because more of the State Department's work was done electronically in her years than had been done previously. She acted as if those rules didn't exist, whereas she put them in place and she was responsible for enforcing them.
Yeah, so the Federal Records Act changed in 2014 to keep pace with the fact that everybody was on smartphones at that point. She has used as her defense in many instances, I just did what former Secretaries of State did. And this report says, yes, you did. Other Secretaries of State also didn't do a great job on this, but specifically says her failures were singled out as more serious.
That's because she diverted 100% of all digital traffic coming to her through her home server. The former Secretaries of State did not do that at all. She was also harshly criticized, excuse me, for keeping some of the email traffic from the State Department, which to this day she believes she wiped clean. I happen to believe the FBI found what she thinks she wiped clean, but the report criticized her for not voluntarily returning to the State Department what she took with her when she left office.
Yeah, so in terms of the investigation, because you're saying this was the security review, it was done at the State Department, it is damning, and it was done by their Inspector General, who is part of the State Department, but does this as an arm's length to get an unbiased look at what she did. The FBI investigation is ongoing. What impact, if any, does this information have on the FBI investigation?
I don't think it has much impact on the FBI investigation because I think the FBI already knows this, but the political impact could be devastating. This is a very bad week for her. As we speak, our colleague Catherine Herridge is in a federal courtroom in Alexandria, Virginia, listening to this Romanian hacker tell a federal judge about the deal his lawyers cut with the Justice Department. The quid pro quo is, don't send me to jail for a long time, and I'll tell a jury how easily it was for hackers in Europe to get into Mrs. Clinton's emails.
Which was a private email server, which was at her house. It was not a State Department server.
This AP revelation of the State Department investigation of her is more continual, cascading bad news from Mrs. Clinton. All of it in the direction of misbehavior while she was Secretary of State. Of all the news that's come out in the past 6 months on this, none of it has been good news for her.
And she has said that she did nothing wrong, and this report says otherwise.
This report directly contradicts that.
Yeah. Judge, thank you. Great having you here today.
On the legal aspect of this, Martha, our brain rooms have been doing some work in the Federal Records Act. We found this. There are no penalties provided by law for this misconduct. Judge, if you disagree with this, jump in here. It continues. It does provide a basis for some action against current employees, but only a personnel-type administrative action. It does not work if the employee is, quote, long gone.
Here's the exception to that, Bill. If the documents consisted of state secrets, which we know 2,200 of her 60,000 emails did, that which was confidential, secret, or top secret, then you have the potential violations of the espionage laws, the failure to keep secure state secrets that have been entrusted to you. That is the essence of what the FBI is looking for.
So there's more to go through on this.
Absolutely.
Judge, thank you. Quick break here. Day 3.